Get strong.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another updated Magic the Gathering Commander deck profile. Today's update profile will be Yuma, Proud Protector. I've had this deck since its release in Outlaws of Fun Junction as the precon. I did do a profile of an upgraded precon, but this video is just Yuma. It's not really an upgrade precon anymore, it is just a constructed deck. Yuma is really interesting because he costs 1 less for each land in your bin. He costs 5 colorless, white, green and red mana. Also, when he enters or attacks, you may sacrifice a land to draw a card, and if that land was a desert, you create a 4/2 plant warrior creature token. I thought that was pretty cool, and since you can get him out as early as turn 4 if you have the right cards, but you might see him like turn 6/turn 7, because he is still, at the end of the day, an 8-drop commander. An 8-drop 6/6 though. He doesn't have haste, so that's fine. We have cards in the deck to give my creatures haste, and as always, this is a landfall deck. If you guys don't know what landfall is, it's cards that trigger when a land enters the battlefield under my control. And I also have cards in the deck that say when the so and so land goes to the bin from anywhere, I have triggered effects on that too. So, without further ado, let's get to the deck profile. So, as always, we got the main man, Yuma, Proud Protector. He's really good. I really like him. He's probably it might be my favorite commander so far, of like playable commander so far this year. I do have a new rat entering the game soon, so we might see a new rat profile in the next few weeks. But so far, he is probably my favorite kind of commander to play. So let's go on to the creatures. So as always, we'll start with the landfall cards. So we've got Lost Cobra, landfall, add a land of any color, pretty standard. Most people don't like this card. It's the disgusting Scootsworn, because landfall create a 1/1 green insect, but if you control 6 or more lands, create a token copy of Scootsworn, so you can have 2 Scootsworns by turn 6. Or turn 4, because I've got a lot of ramp cards in the deck. Rampaging Baloths, land, it's a 6/6 trample, landfall, create a 4/4 beast. Avenger of Zendikar, ends the battlefield, create an amount of 0/1 green plant creature tokens for each land I control, because he's a 7-drop. I could get him out turn 7, I got 7 plants. Landfall is you put a 1/1 counter on each plant. Yep, each plant. So the plant warriors you make from Yuma get a 1/1 counter. And then we have Nesting Dragon, creates 0/1 dragon eggs, and then when they die, they become 2/2 dragons with pay a red. It gets a +1/+0 to the end of the turn. For last, kind of mono red, we have Moga. I can never pronounce his name. It's the big moo cow with landfall. It's just the alt art version for those who don't know. So each creature gets a +1/+0 each time it has attacked this turn. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if it's your main phase, there is additional combat after this phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures you control. So I could gain an additional combat just to swing of all my tokens again, because in this deck there's a lot of tokens. There is quite a lot. For the multicolored, we got the blue-green Omnath, the red-green Omnath, which landfall creates a 5/5 elemental, and when he or another elemental dies, it deals 3 damage to any target. So yeah, I use this a lot. I don't know how this deck does play a lot differently to the original build I had. I swapped some guys out, I swapped some guys in. Like, this guy wasn't in the original build, but I added him in, and he works pretty well. Then next, it's not really a landfall, but he does trigger when, say, a desert enters the battlefield. It creates 2 1/1 green-red white sand warriors. He also has Desert Walk, which is kind of irrelevant because I doubt anyone else is going to be playing deserts in our pod. We have the fort, but he does allow me to play deserts for my graveyard. So yeah, I've got at least like 3 cards to say I can play lands from my graveyard. Now we go on to like additional land creatures. So we have All Cool. May play additional land each of your turns. You may play with the top of your library revealed. You may play lands on top of your library. Like, the amount of how so many like good cards came in the commander deck is still amazing. Ancient Green Warden. Reach, may play additional land. You may play lands from your graveyard. If a land, basically landfalls will trigger twice using this card. Mina and Den, play lands each your turn. Red green, return land, return target land you control to its own hand, target creature gains trample to the end of turn. Pretty simple. This is just ways of giving my like token. I can gain like multiple tokens, trample pretty much. My Excavator. You may play lands from your graveyard. Pretty simple. Same as this and this. Just play lands from the bin. So those are pretty much play land from bin and additional land. Like, these are very important for the deck because, as always, we want as much land as we want in our bins. So Yuma costs X less. To also help with that, we do have some mill cards in here. So we have an Aftermath Analysis. Enter the battlefield, mill free, pay free, sacrifice, and return all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Now, I used to have World Shape in the deck, but I decided he's never going to get killed, no one's going to block him, so I took him out for another card. I think this might have been in the first profile, I can't really remember. But yeah, Aftermath Analysis, really good card. It was just in my bulk. Just chilling. I didn't realize I had one. But the next card is a card that came out MH3, which is 6 mono green, 3 mana for 2/4 with reach. When she attacks, you mill 3 cards. Then you may put a land card from among them into your hand. And then a non-land permanent, during your turn, non-land permanents in your graveyard have Retrace. So, you don't know what Retrace is. Basically, you can discard a land from your hand to cast a non-land permanent from your bin, but you also have to pay the mana cost. So if I wanted to cast this from my graveyard, I discard a land and pay 3 mana. I took World Shaper out for 6. Because I was really happy when 6 got revealed, and it just means that, okay, I can get lands in my bin a lot easier and cast the cards that got board wiped or something. The next card is from Wild of Eldraine, being Blossoming Toe. Enters the battlefield or attacks, you mill 3 cards, then return a land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Activate abilities, the lands you control cost 1 less. And land creatures get +1/+1. Most of the time, the land creatures get +1/+1. Nah. You can use Asher, Soul of the Wild, if you really wanted to. I just thought in my build it just seemed a bit overkill, because I'll have so many landfall triggers, like I'll get confused, my opponents will get confused, and I have no idea what's going on. I just prefer not to use it. If you want to use Asher Soul of the Wild, if you guys don't know what it is, I'll have a picture of it below the camera. But yeah, I just decided not to. I thought it would be too much. I just dropped my entire creatures. I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. Wait, no. Okay, and we are back. So, well, where were we? Oh yeah, Asher, Soul Wild. You can use it if you really want to, I just prefer not to. So the next, kind of like the last, like, mill creature in the deck is Yuma, Bellow of the Woods. The new, one of the new creatures from Bloomburrow. This card, insane. So it's got Vigilance, Reach, and its power is equal to another land you control. Highest I've ever got this card was probably 2121. Yuma enters mill 4 cards, then return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So for 6 mana you get a really big creature with Vigilance, Reach, and you gain all your lands back from your bin to the battlefield. They do come in tapped, but they do also trigger all your landfalls. This card was one of the most sought after cards, I think, in Bloomburrow. For the longest time, the gold kind of raised foil of this, I think, was the most expensive one. I don't know what that is at the moment, but yeah, this card was one of the most sought after cards. Like, I was really happy when I first saw it because it was part of the first, like, spoilers. It came in the first bunch of spoilers we had, so that was pretty cool. Next we have creatures that kind of trigger when a land go. You can basically lands go to bin / sack lands. So we have Protector of Urgoth. No. Oh, whatever. Ends battlefield, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield. Whenever a land is put into the graveyard from anywhere, from the battlefield, create a 5/3 green elemental creature token. Pretty simple. Next we have Sand Scout. If Sand Scout enters the battlefield and the opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for a desert and put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Because you're running like a land ramp, sometimes you might not get this effect off, but if you see this in your opening hand, you can get this off quite easily if it's in your opening hand. Whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, create a 1/1 red green white Sand Soldier creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. So yeah, that's kind of like the downside. It only triggers once each turn, but you're guaranteed at least one Sand Soldier per turn. Because it doesn't have to be during your turn. You can sack a land during your opponent's turn to do something, and then you'll gain a Sand Soldier because a land exit. Spring Bloom Druid, I still run this card because there's an easy sack per land in the bin, search for 2 lands. And then also triggers like these two. Well, it triggers this a lot, and also this. I also added another MH3 card, being Sylvan Safekeeper. Sack a land, target creature gains Shroud to the end of turn. It's really handy when a creature is about to be popped, well, targeted. So, and because this isn't once, like you can do this multiple times depending on how many lands, I will mostly just sack off my tapped lands. As long as I have like 1 red, 1 green, 1 white, I should be fine. to at least cast my commander again. So yeah, giving my creatures Shroud at instant speed multiple times, pretty good. Next we have Sun Titan. Whenever Sun Titan attacks or enters the battlefield, return a permanent mana rare 3 or less from the graveyard to your battlefield. So any one of my like mana 3 or lower creatures or lands if I really want to. And then we got Helder Heart of Keld. As long as your turn, she has first strike. You may look at top card of your library at any time. You may pay lands from the top of your library. Pay 4 colors, a red and a green, and she gets +X to the end of turn, where X is the number of lands you control. So you can, like, using this card, you can effectively give her trample if you have both of them on board. Because then she's just a big card that most likely will get blocked by a 1/1 token. Next, we have a Dune Chanter. Now, Dune Chanter allows all your lands to become deserts, no matter where they are. So, lands you control and land cards you own that aren't on the battlefield are deserts in addition to their other types. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Then you can tap him, mill 2 cards, and gain 1 life for each land milled this way. That's never really gonna happen. I've only ever got off like maybe once or twice, and I've only ever gained 1 life. But he is a cheeky, I will cheeky mill 2 cards and to trigger all my other cards. Next we have Kiri, Talented Sprout. Other plants, tree folks you control get +2/+0, and at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, return target plant, tree folk, or land from your graveyard to your hand. So, yeah. So you can go into combat, attack, and then after that, return a land that you probably would have sacrificed with Yuma if you attacked with him, or even entered. Next we have a Tiller Engine. This card is nuts, because whenever a land enters the battlefield tapped, choose 1. You may untap that land, or tap a non-land permanent opponent controls. So if 1 land came in the battlefield tapped, I can tap 1 non-land permanent, or untap that land if I really want to. Say if I pull in a bounce land that comes in tapped, I can untap that bounce land and I've got 2 mana instead of 1. Or if 10 lands come in battlefield tapped, I will tap as many creatures as I can so my creatures can get through when they attack. The card is honestly really nuts. It's like, I think it's like just under a $5, and the card is, in my opinion, underrated. The card is really good. And then for the last creature, Anger, just because I mill a lot, and having, as long as I got a mountain on board and he's in my bin, all my creatures have haste. So that's kind of it for the creatures. Now for the artifacts, we're running Commander Staples, being Soul Ring and Arcane Signet. We're running a Zolan Orb, which allows you to sack a land to gain 2 life. Really, really useful if your opponents are trying to get you for exact game. I can say sack a land, gain 2 life, I'm left on 1 life. Crucible Worlds to just cast or play lands for my bin again. A Timepiece so I can mill 2 cards or pay 2. Shuffle any number of cards from my graveyard into my library. And to this card I added in just because I needed ways of like sacking my eggs or my Omnaths, or the tokens my Omnath makes to deal damage. I've added a Astronaut's Altar to the deck, and this card came in clutch. This card with like Omnath is like really good because you can sack the 5/5s that Omnath makes to deal 3 damage. And if if you're just unable to kill someone with commander damage or with damage at all, say they're on like 2 life, you can sack at instant speed to deal them 3 damage. And the same is also said to Nesting Dragon, if you really want to, because most of the time I need flies out because I have no other flies. If I can instant speed sack this, create the 2/2 to then block like a flyer, perfect. But yeah, having this card has really helped out a lot. Okay, now for the instant and sorceries and enchantments. Crop rotation, sack a land, search for a land. Endless restoration, additional sack a land, search your library for 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield tapped. If I control a creature with mana value 4 or greater, put 3 lands in the battlefield tapped. Realms Enchanted, this is a cheeky card. So search your library for a land card with 4 land cards with different names, reveal them, and opponent chooses 2 of them. The chosen go to your hand, and the rest go into your graveyard. My camera is a bit blurry for some reason, stop that. So yeah, this is just allowing me to gain additional lands. There are mainly 4 lands I will search, and I know exactly which ones will go to the bin. I'll get to those lands in a bit. Then we have kind of like removal spells, being Source of Plowshare, extra target creature, Beast Within, destroy, non-land permanent, Chaos Warp, bounce it back to the deck, pretty much. Those are my only removals in the deck, well, as like basic spells at least. Protection cards, I'm running a heroic intervention and Boris Charm, because why not? I don't want my tokens to die, or my actual creatures. And then we're running Aldemia's Call, search your library for creature, reveal it, put it in your hand and shuffle. It's just a 2-drop search card for green-white. For last instant we have Electric Revelation, just for cast, discard a card, draw 2, but a lot. Reason why this is still in the deck because it has flashback, so I can pay 4, discard, draw 2. Most of the time I am indeed discarding lands. Now for sorceries, explore, play additional land, draw card. My Megatic Metallic Insight, additional cost, discard a land, draw 2. Map the Frontier, 4 mana, you can either search for 2 basic lands or 2 deserts and pop them onto the battlefield tapped. Escape to the Wilds, exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play those cards. You may play the exile cards until the end of your next turn, and you play additional land this turn. So it's like Embrace the Unknown, which is this card. Embrace the Unknown, exile top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. It also has Retrace, so I can pay 3 mana, discard a card to cast this from the bin. And nice thing about Retrace is they don't get exiled when they leave the field. They just go back to the bin. And then we have an Hour of Promise. Search your library for up to 2 land cards and put them onto the battlefield tapped. Then, if you control 3 or more deserts, you create 2 2/2 black zombies. And then we have Reclamation, which allows you to return a permanent with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. But if this card was cast from your graveyard, you can pick 2 permanents with mana value 3 or less. Effectively, you get to copy the spell and choose new target for a copy. It does have Flashback 5, but that Flashback 5 is well worth it, because a lot of my creatures are indeed, well, a lot of my creatures and the permanents are under 3 mana. Vengeful Regrowth, return 3 land cards when you go to the battlefield tapped, then create that many 4/2 green Plan Warrior creature tokens with reach. Flashback is for 8 mana, which is fine, because hopefully by the time I can cast this, I've got 8 mana just chilling anyway. And then we have Majestic Genesis. Reveal X cards on top of your library, where X is the greatest mana value of a commander you own on the battlefield or in the command zone. And we all know Yuma is a fat 8, so yeah. Put any number of permanents from among them onto the battlefield and the rest to the bottom of your library in a random order. Like, this card is really good because it can get me lands, which is very important for the deck. Splendid Reclamation, return all lands to the battlefield tapped. Simple, 4 mana spell, don't have to go into that. World Soul's Rage, deals X damage to any target, put up to X lands from your hand and or graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. For a green, red, and for X. I think the highest I've got this is like, what, 10? I think I've popped 10 to this once. And yeah, it was pretty good. And for the last one is a new card from Bloombo, Season of the Bold. So you may choose, it gives you like 5 paw prints, and you can choose same mode multiple times if you wish. 1 paw print, gain a tapped treasure. 2 paw prints, exile the top 2 cards of your library to the end of the turn. You may play them. It's effectively Embrace the Unknown. And 3 is until your next turn, whenever you cast a spell, Seasonal Bowls deals 2 damage to any target creature. I probably will never do that. I'll probably just stick to 1 and 2. So create 3 treasures, exile 2 cards, because then next turn I have 3 extra mana to cast those cards. And completely forgot about For the Common Good. So a green and 2 X. So X, create X tokens that are copies of target token you control. Then tokens you control gain indestructible to the end of your next turn. So until the end of your next turn, you gain 1 life for each token you control. So this could be a cheeky, I'm gonna die. I'll gain a lot of health. I've got tons of mana because most of the time I need a mana dump. That is what this card is. This card is my mana dump. And it's just saving my tokens, so for example my Scoot Swans maybe, is nice being able to protect my guys. And then we have 4 enchantments. Exploration, additional land on each of my turns. Desert Warfare, it came out in the Modern Horizons 3 Commander decks. So whenever you sacrifice a desert, and whenever a desert card is put into your graveyard from your hand or library, put that card onto the battlefield under your control at the beginning of your next end step. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control 5 or more deserts, create that many 1/1 green, red, and white Sand Warrior creature tokens. They gain haste. So yeah, when I saw this card get revealed in spoilers, I was so hyped because, oh, more deserts, let's go. Oh, and yeah, it's pretty nice. Next, the Mending of Dominaria is still in the deck. I still think it's really good. Just being able to mill 2 per creature card from into your hand, and then putting all lands onto the battlefield and everything else back into your deck is really good. Good overcycle. And the last card is Impact Tremors, just to deal my opponents 1 damage every time a creature enters my board. Most of the time it will be tokens. I've actually won using this card just because I was able to make tokens over and over and over again. Just because I had so many may play additional lands and play lands from your graveyard. So I was playing sack lands pretty much. And coming to lands, this deck still runs 40 land. I still have 40 land. 40 from the pre-con, 40 from my updated, and now 40 from my constructed. So still running the same amount of desert cards from the pre-con, and from the updated version. Still running Do No Dead, Endless Sands, Arid Archway. I'm still running all these deserts because you want to make sure you have a good amount of deserts. Because if you don't have a good amount of deserts, then most of your cards aren't going to go off. Next, for the normal kind of the regular lands, obviously we're running a command deck, so we have Command Tower, and that hasn't changed. Neither has Lotus Field, hasn't changed. Jetmere Garden hasn't changed. Those lands hasn't really changed at all. What has changed though is I'm actually running 3 of the bounce lands. So Sanctuary, Garrison, and Turf. I'm running these just because now I'm running more Retrace, especially 6, so I can play this, bounce a land back to my hand, and then I can pay like 2 mana, discard the land I just got to then cast a creature, or I can play this. I can play this, bounce this, and oh look, I'll play an additional land during my turn. This will be my additional land. Just imagine this is like a basic. It's just a basic land. Bam. And then obviously I'm still running like Command Beacon and Field of the Dead, of course, because Field of the Dead is nuts in a landfall deck. Then we go to the cards that they stack themselves to gain more land. Since I did pull a Fabled Passage in my Collector Booster and Bundle Box, I decided that I'm gonna just run it. So yeah, tap, sack, search for basic land, put onto the battlefield tapped. Then you control 4 more, untap that card. This was kind of like the card I kept using to keep playing creatures, well, keep getting tokens because of landfall and dealing my opponent's damage. Still running Cabaret Courtyard because Cabaret Courtyard is more busted. It's probably almost as busted as Field of the Dead, because it doesn't matter if it comes in tapped or untapped. As soon as it comes in, sacks itself, comes in a basic land, gain a life. And then we're using Sheltering Landscape. So taps for colors, or you can tap, sack, search for basic plains, mountain or forest and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Or you can pay red, white and green to cycle, so you can discard this card to draw a card if you really want to. So that's it for the non-basics, and I did tweak the amount of non-basics. Like I'm only running like 5 plains now, because I decided to take a plains out for the Fabled Passage. I'm still running 4 mountains because I still need a good amount of mountains, especially since I'm running Anger. And I'm still running, I say that, I took 1 forest out for, what was it? What did I take it out for? It might have been for, okay, it was for one of the bounce lands. It was for Gruul Turf. I took out a forest. So the number of basic lands did in fact go down by 2. But with that, I was able to add in a lot more land search and like bounce cards, which is kind of more important for the deck. So yeah, that's been my Yuma Proud Protector deck profile. If you guys want to see more deck profiles in the future, feel free to subscribe. And if you want to get notified for when I next upload more videos, then hit that bell to get notified when I upload more videos. If you guys do want to see sort of more in the realms of kind of like magic content, I think like once a month, if you go to the Fort Lowestoft's Twitch page, or Twitch channel, from time to time we will be opening latest Magic the Gathering stock, since we are now a WPN. Yeah. So, as always, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys want to see some more deck profiles, then let me know in the comment section below. Yeah, and I shall see you guys in the next stream. Stream? Don't know why I said stream, this is a YouTube video. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.